Hey guys, welcome back to Johnson Hunts. I wanted to do another video that was more focused on just the day that I actually got the 2 deer. I felt like the first video got a little bit long, and I wanted to do one more just focused on that. So a lot of the clips that you'll see are in the other video as well, but this one will be a little bit shorter and more focused on that. So I've been kind of going after this buck all year. It's a big wide 8-point. I had gotten him on camera quite a few times, mostly over by my hang-on stand with my food plot. There was actually kind of a funny story that one day, about mid-October after work, I was trying to get out last couple hours before dusk. I walked out, got all climbed up into my stand, strapped in, camera up, and I really hadn't even looked around that much, and I look up and the neighbor was right there about 20 yards away in another tree on his property. I was on my property, but I knew if it was reversed I would be kind of annoyed if someone did that to me, so I just climbed back down and moved somewhere else. And then about a week later I checked my cameras and you can actually see me walk through, and and then I climbed up in my stand, got down and moved, and then right before last light you see the buck that I'd been going after was actually in my food plot, and it would have been about 10-15 yards behind that guy. And then a little bit later, right at last light, you see him take off in the one picture, and then about a minute later you see me come walking through to go back to my car. I had no idea that he was even there, but I just so happened to spook him right back onto our property. So that was kind of a cool story for me, because it really got me pumped up again for gun season, to know that he was still out there, he was still on our property, up and moving. And really, gun season, it was kind of anticlimactic. I really didn't have that many opportunities during gun season. The couple weeks that we have, I saw quite a few deer, but mostly just doe and young yearlings. The big bucks tend to just kind of bed down during gun season. Once they kind of start hearing gunshots, we have a lot of hunters in our area, and they tend to just bed down. So my dad and I have, most years we'll go and do 1 or 2 deer drives. Just to kind of get the big boys up and moving. We've kind of found it to be the most effective way a lot of times. So we had done this actually about a couple weeks, pretty early into gun season we did it. And I was the walker and my dad was the shooter, and he actually got a pretty nice 6-point. Would have been a nice 8-point, but it didn't have any brow tines, which was kind of weird. But anyway, so December 8th, my dad and I had both kind of been out late the night before, so we decided that we would skip the morning hunt and just go out in the afternoon and go walking. So we kind of have this bedding area that I mentioned before, and my dad got one. You can see in the picture there's kind of a bedding area up by the road with some thick trees and brush. The deer love to bed in there. I had gotten pictures of them going to and from it quite a bit throughout the season. So we knew they liked to bed in there, and there's sign everywhere as you walk through there. And kind of the same approach that we took with my dad's deer, except we switched. So my dad, I was the shooter, so I set up in the, there's kind of a natural funnel. So the deer, when they get spooked, they tend to run. There's a water on one side and then kind of an open field on the other side. So they kind of tend to like to stay in the brush and the trees. So they'll kind of run like in the same direction every time. So I set up right in their path, basically. And then my dad will come and walk through, kind of zigzag back and forth, and we have just kind of a setup, stay out of this area, this is my firing zone, and plus we have radios that will talk back and forth with each other, so we know where we're at and we stay safe. But anyway, we reversed roles, and my dad went and walked, and before you know it, he had radioed me, and there was a big one coming. So I'll let you guys see what happens next. We just got out into the woods. It's Saturday, December 8th. We decided not to go out this morning. I just snuck up here. My dad's gonna go down to the end here, down towards Baldwin, and walk down towards me. We usually have pretty good luck. My dad actually got one earlier this year doing this, so he's gonna try and drive him down towards me. I think I'm in the perfect spot, so let's sit tight and see what happens. I nailed him, Dad. I got him right here. Let's freaking go. They came literally right beside me. Holy cow. Dad, it's a big one too. Let's go! Whack 'em, stack 'em, baby. Yeah. Well, the first group came right down here. I shot the first buck over here. And then the second group, I was looking over this way. Then all of a sudden I happened to catch movement on my eye and they were back there. So that one's over here.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you. It was coming on the visitor side.
Yeah, well, I was watching down through here. But they snuck behind me. They got to about here before I saw them. Let's go look at this one first. You've got to be kidding me. I can't believe that. I just dropped the second one. Right in his tracks. I don't know if I spined him or what, but give me a thumbs up.
If he hops up, we're in trouble. Yeah, that one doesn't look half bad from here.
I was looking, I thought you had me looking way over towards the edge of the field. Look at that, Drew. That's a beaut. Drew, that's got to go on the wall right there. You just got yourself a taxidermy bill.
See that front shoulder?
Yeah.
I think that dropped.
Is that the first or the second?
I don't know how. I mean, I guess unless it was the first and it just took them 30 yards to drop.
Jeez, Drew. Drew, we haven't shot that big a... Oh my goodness, Drew, you got blood coming right out his ear hole. Was that the...
Oh, I hit him in the back of the neck. I hit him both times.
Yeah. Drew, look at the size of that.
Holy cow. I can't believe.
Nice done.
What in the... Where did I hit him?
I think you came up through, don't you? Or this would be the exit, wouldn't it?
Do you think that's someone else?
No.
There's no way. He was running this way the whole time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Your entrance is the other. That's your exit.
Maybe.
Because if he was going like this, you know, running this way, you went that and that, right? I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't think he was quartering to me the first time. Second time, he was kind of parallel a little bit, maybe quartering away. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I'll ever get a bigger deer than
No.
that. That's the one I had on camera. It has to be. So we just got done field dressing these ones. $2 one day. Like I said earlier, I was able to get set up behind a tree over here on the Beckman. I had my dad go down to the end where we know the deer like to bed over here. So we had it all set up. We've had similar luck over here in the past. Actually, my dad got one a couple weeks ago in the same exact setup. So we switched spots. He came down. Not even 30 seconds into getting into the swale hole, he radios me, "You got a pile of does coming towards you." So I start getting all ready, and he's narrating to me as he's going, "There's 4 more does. Oh, there's a nice buck." So I'm already, you know, got my safety off at this point because I have does everywhere around me, as you probably saw. And all of a sudden I see this big guy coming through. Take one shot. It looked like I hit him in the front leg here. It kind of came out the back and actually came out his back leg, which probably would have killed him. I took a couple steps out from behind the tree, was able to get another shot off at him as he was going through the thick stuff, and actually dropped him right there. I actually hit him right under the ear here. So dropped him right in his tracks. Not 30 seconds later, I'm radioing my dad, telling him I just got a big one. And he's like, "Well, get ready, there's another buck coming." So I quick stand up, I'm sitting there, and I see movement behind me. I turn and look, and there's another buck and a doe staring at me. So I wait for him to turn his head. He turns his head, I whip, get my gun up and look at him. Like, it's a pretty good sized buck. I still had another tag to fill this year, and it's been a rough year seeing bucks. Seen a ton of doe, but not very many bucks, so I decided let's get them. Let's get 2 in one day. One shot, dropped him. I don't know where this bullet went in. We've looked everywhere on this deer. We saw the exit hole, but whatever it did, it dropped him. It was a mess in there, but got him all field dressed. What a great way to end the year. Gotta thank my dad for all his hard work walking there, but what a great end of the season.
over here and love and trade you.